Since opening for business in 2001, Chicagoland has established a rich history in its first decade of operation, particularly in IndyCar competition. In a series renowned for its photo finishes, the IndyCar Series has produced two of the closest finishes in series history at Chicagoland, with Sam Hornish Jr. beating Al Unser Jr. by 24 thousandths in 2002, and Helio Castroneves piping Scott Dixon by 33 thousandths in the 2008 season finale. Of course, neither Dario Franchitti nor Scott Dixon will soon forget the 2007 contest that saw the Scotsman win the race and the IndyCar Series title when Dixie ran out of fuel half a lap from the finish. Chicagoland is no less competitive when the race cars sport fenders. In fact, Kyle Busch is the only driver to win a NASCAR Cup Series race at Chicagoland from the pole, and only one other driver, Kevin Harvick, qualified in the top 10 and won. Harvick also has the distinction of coming from the deepest part of the field, 32nd, to win at Chicagoland, while Dale Earnhardt Jr., 25th, Tony Stewart, 19th, also emerged victorious after starting deep in the field. Tonight, it's the Sno-Belt Industries 125, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to the virtual Chicagoland Speedway. The Sno-Belt Industries 125 coming up next. Let's take a look at the race details. Tonight, 125 laps the distance, 65% fuel on board, 2 tire sets, 0 fast repairs, 1 attempt at the green-white checkered finish. Track temperature 81 degrees. Air temperature 78 degrees, a little humid at 70%. Clear skies though, however, sun is setting at an 8-mile-per-hour breeze. Practice just about wrapped up here from the Speedway. We'll get into qualifying here momentarily. Fast time so far, the 3 of Brandon Moore, Chris Stange, Vincent Short. Last week's winner, Raymond Hanneman, 4th. Wesley Jeanette, 5th quick. Just about 60 seconds left in this session. And again, we will jump right into qualifying immediately thereafter, so stay tuned. While practice wraps up here, let's give thanks to the primary sponsor for tonight's race. It is the Sno-Belt Industries 125. Manufacturers when precision matters. Sno-Belt Industries is your trusted partner in metal finishing. For more than 35 years, they've delivered exceptional results across the automotive, medical, electronic, bus bar, and hinge industries. Their full range of services includes vapor degreasing, aqueous degreasing, deburring, burnishing, and passivating, all backed by our ISO 9001-2015 certification. At Sno-Belt, you'll get top-tier quality at truly competitive pricing. To learn more or request a quote, contact Tommy Pulte at snobelt.com. Black and red flags on the session. Practice concluded. We're going to get right into qualifying here. And we'll see who takes to the Speedway first. Looks like Robbie Good's going to be the first one to roll out. Very interesting racetrack here. It's rather unique, though. I guess you could call it a cookie-cutter mile and a half, but there's really nowhere on this racetrack that you can consider straight. Backstretch is just not a stretch, but it is a curved backbone, if you will. Not quite pinned straight down the back straightaway, so drivers that aren't paying attention, we've seen it many times, will put the right side of the race car in that wall if they're not careful. First lap for good, 30.309. Christain's top of the board right now at 29.979. Only a couple of drivers below that 30-second mark. Vincent Short with a 30 flat. Sits in P3 for the time being. Robbie Good will cross the line. Lap 2 at 30.110. Picks it up to P6. Vincent Short finishing up his lap. A little slower, about 0.2 slower. Jason Aranchak in the number 84. 30.125 his first trip around. Ooh, big wiggle for Aranchak. That's going to throw this lap in the garbage. Tommy Pulte on the racetrack in the number 26 Sno-Belt Industries Camaro. Tommy wanted us to mention here, there's a hockey team that Tommy sponsors called basically Puck Cancer. Puck with a P. In case someone wants to edit the broadcast here for my foul language, it's Puck, like hockey puck. Puck Cancer, raising money for the cause. They got a tournament coming up this weekend. Put it on net, boys. Good luck. Pulte 12th quick on his first lap, 30.204. Stange still fastest, 29.979. Brandon Moore, second quick with a 986. Pulte's only going to get one lap of record. Now we go back to Raymond Hanneman, last week's winner. We'll see what the 85 can lay down here. See if he's going to be a threat for pole position. Good numbers in qualifying are nice, but the race is really what matters. Track position can be helpful, but Hanneman has shown he can get through the field if need be. Hanneman goes pole, 29.956 on lap 1. He's going to be one and done. Can't say that I blame him there. A very good lap, even if it doesn't hold up. Definitely going to start at least in top 5, maybe even just a top 2. That was a blistering lap for Hanneman. Nathan Lyon will finish up 30.339. Second lap. First lap was a 149, good enough for P12. Jim Treat in the 367. New colors on that Camry this week. Treat finishes lap 2. First lap wasn't counted. 30.353. 21st on the board. Not a great qualifying effort for the 367, but keep an eye on him. He'll be around here when this thing's all said and done. 15 seconds left in the session. Austin Walton going to try and get a lap in here. I don't know if it's going to be... Oh, it's going to be close. Tournament is Puck Cancer. I know, I'm trying to read it at the same time. I tried. Oh, he just misses the line as qualifying expires, so Austin Walton not going to get a lap in. That'll do it for qualifying. So let's take a look at it. Our starting grid for tonight's race, the Sno-Belt Industries 125 pole sitter. It's Raymond Hanneman with a lap of 29.956 seconds. continuing his winning ways from last week. Outside pole, number 72 from Fueled Up Motorsports, missed it by 23 thousandths of a second. It's Chris Stange. Row number 2 will be Brandon Moore and Vincent Short. Row 3, Wesley Jeanette and Chris Cornett. Row number 4, it's Juan Linares, Rance Tatro. Probably messing that one up still. Row number 5, Robbie Good and Jason Aranchak. Starting 11th, the 1 of Johnny DePasquale. 12th goes to Nathan Line. 13th starter, it's Tom Janikowski. 14th is Benjamin Smith. Jackson West will start from the 15th spot. Kerwin Marshall in the number 4 will start 16th. 17th starter, it's Tommy Pulte. 18th, it's Don Canright. Matt Sisler rolls off in 19th. Derek Buckaloo, 20th. 21st will be Jim Treat. 22nd, Chris Pieria. Blake Hochschild, 23rd. Michael Thorne, 24th. And shotgun on the field without a lap in qualifying. Austin Walton in the number 9 will start 25th. Austin just barely missed the start-finish line as the session came to a close. Unfortunately, no lap recorded for Austin. Still waiting on Matt Sisler and Austin Walton to get gridded up before the pace car can get rolling. Now we just wait on the 9 of Walton. Further down the line, Dustin in the chat says EOLs tonight. Raymond Hanneman for his win last week. Kerwin Marshall, Jason Blaney, Brandon Moore, Vincent Short, Jackson West, Carson Youngblood, if he makes it. Going to the back. I don't think Youngblood did make it, unfortunately. My guess is that penalty will carry over to next week. And you see him just waiting there on the apron. They're going to go all the way to the back. Race details yet again, in case you missed it earlier on. 125 laps the distance tonight. 65% fuel on board. 2 sets of tires over the wall. No fast repairs. Count them. 0, zip, zilch. 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish if necessary. Field doubled up. EOL penalties have been applied. Got to get this field tightened up here, 2 by 2, but a lot of space separating everybody outside the top 8. Don't know if they're going to wave this off or not. They got to get these guys tightened up. Pace car heads to pit lane. Pace truck, that is. Wesley Jeanette, Chris Stange on the front row. Stange fires off a little late in the zone. Kind of stacks up the field behind him. The outside lane's only going to have a few cars to work with, but Stange jumps out to the early lead. Side by side for the second spot, Jeanette and Cornett. Now a battle for the race lead. Cornett and Stange side by side at the line. Stange will lead lap number 1 by a nose. Terry Crouch in the chat, who's your pick? Well, it's tough for me to make those picks right now because this is a relatively new league for us. And I really haven't seen who's the guys to pick out, but I don't know. Give me a minute, I'll figure it out. I don't want to just go with the I rating, so I'm not going to pick Raymond Hanneman to go 2 in a row. We'll go with Chris Stange here, as long as you keep defenders on that number 72. Stange with the lead for now, up 1 position from qualifying. Cornett took a stab at him there, led a lap, but Top 5 starting to get spread out here, really even further back. Top 6, 7, 8, and 9, single file. Just as quickly, they go back at it. Johnny DePasquale in the 1 to the inside of the 93. That's Tom Janikowski. DePasquale goes all the way down to the grass on the flat of the racetrack. Austin Walton late to the grid. He has worked his way all the way up into the 9th spot now. He is on a rocket ship towards the front. No Jason Blaney tonight. I forget if it was work-related or family-related. Either way, Blaney going to miss tonight. Trouble behind Walton, but he hangs on to it. Nathan Line had his hands full. Line was able to hang on to it. I don't know how. Nathan Line slips from 9th back to 11th now. Out front, not much has changed. Chris Dange still with the race lead. Chris Cornett, Juan Linares up to 3rd. Wesley Jeanette, Rance Tatro in 5th, and the caution is out.
Brett, tell me about your car real quick.
Trouble on the front stretch. Johnny DePasquale, 1 driver involved. Jim Treat, another. Looks like the 77 of Robbie Good caught out in this as well. I'll have to take a look. It appears Vince Short may have set this one off. Let me take a look at the replay here. Definitely not Vince, or was it? Where is Vince? Nope. Vince goes through the grass. This happens ahead of the 15. This will tell us more, maybe? Maybe? Nope. Still not more. Looks like it starts with the 77 of Robbie Good. Car steps out on him in the 93. Tom Janikowski to the outside. Just nowhere for him to go and not enough time to react. Oh, big-time hits for these guys. Robbie Good gets hit really hard a couple of times there. It's too bad he had to go back up top of the racetrack. Unfortunately for Robbie, I think he might have been able to live to see another day here if he just locked her down and slid through the grass. It would have been a difficult night after that, but it's a whole lot more difficult after those impacts after the initial spin. Raymond Hanneman will come out of the pits in the 8th position. Remember, he took an EOL to start this one. Now, there was a handful of EOLs to be doled out, so it may not necessarily have been dead last on the start, but still, tail of the field. And only 11 laps in, Hanneman has worked his way up to 8th. does appear everybody took the opportunity to come down and pit here tonight in this first caution. For the most part, everybody went fuel only. Jason Aranchak, Jackson West could potentially have taken tires, but it could also be fuel and maybe a little bit of body work repair. It's one thing I wish iRacing would indicate for us is the drivers that changed tires and the number of them. That would be very helpful to us broadcast types. Speaking of things I'd like iRacing to incorporate, how about some scuffed tires? There's got to be a way. I'm sure there's a way. Lights on the pace truck have been extinguished, so we're going to go back green flag racing the next time by. Pace truck going to make the hard left turn, headed to pit lane here, ready for the restart here. First restart of the night.
Green flag.
Lap 13 will go up on the board. Green back in the air. Stange and Cornette on the front row. Stange gets away very clean. Field spills out onto the backstretch. Stange and Cornette have broken away from the rest of the field. Juan Linares leading the pack in third, and we got trouble behind. One car pounds the outside wall.
Caution.
More drivers being collected now. I think it was Wesley Jeanette. It almost looked like a right front tire went down, but awful early for that sort of thing. Significant damage to the right front of his machine. Ben Smith in a similar circumstance. His car is all tore up. He is towed to pit lane. Let's take a look. See, Jeanette's already in the wall here, and Ben Smith, I think, just overreacts trying to turn down. He probably could have just held his line. Jeanette did a good job keeping the race car up against the fence after making hard contact. Let's see, did Jeanette have some help here? From that perspective, I don't think he did. If he had any help, it was all aero related. Doesn't look like Sisler made any contact, at least initially. You watch the 74 just kind of step out. Watch what happens here. On board with Smith. Big hit. Meanwhile, in the chat, Dustin Rogerson with ZeroX Media says, I vote Steve for iRacing president. Oh, boy. Oh, now I get it. The whole scuffed tire thing. Would certainly add another element to strategy here, considering this is the ZeroX strategy series. That would be a great thing to be able to add. And again, they've got the ability to do it. You know they do, because it tells you exactly how much wear is left on that set of tires when you take them off the car. You can look at it immediately thereafter. So that information is clearly stored in their servers somewhere. Even if they just gave us one set of scuffs. The newest set. Maybe we can get Dale Jr. back on an IROC broadcast on a Monday night, and we'll see if he can bring it up. Had Carson Quapple running with us last night. No Junior this time, but Junior Motorsports in the house. Led a bunch of laps, but ultimately Crash took out Carson Quapple. We're on the one to go here. We'll be green flag racing the next time by. Lap 17 will go up on the board. We'll see if we can get a long green flag run in here. Does seem like these Gen 7 Cup cars are a little on edge on the colder tires. We've seen a couple of drivers have the rear end just step out all by themselves. Saw one driver save it. So far, the two others did not.
Green, green, green.
Three wide behind the leaders. Hanneman up there in the middle. .48 of Juan Linares was topside. Hanneman gets clear of both those drivers, moves up through, still hunting the front. Hanneman moving up now to the fourth position, going for third. Hanneman on rails here early on. Badger Sports asking if there's a place we can go to see the season standings. The long answer is yes, but. The short answer is we're only a few races into the season here. I'll start posting that up as we get a little bit deeper. You'll see a graphic on that as well. Just got to get with Dustin here on whether they're using Sim Racer Hub. I believe they are. If that's the case, then it shouldn't be a problem at all. As it stands right now, though, Raymond Hanneman, the points leader. I'm taking a look at it. I can't display it right now, but I can at least tell you where we're at. I'll give you the top five in the point standings. Raymond Hanneman, Jason Blaney, which he's going to drop like a rock tonight after not being able to make the race. Brandon Moore is third. Chris Cornett fourth. Christopher Stange is fifth. Keeping in mind, I believe there is at least one drop race in this series, which basically at the end of the season, the lowest performing race in your results, I believe, gets dropped, taken out of the equation. So Jason Blaney, if he only misses one race, then this one really won't hurt him. But yeah, Badger Sports, I'll start working on that in the coming weeks so I can display that each and every. Dustin confirming one drop week this season. So again, if Blaney only misses tonight, this won't affect him. Yeah, Badger, it's not that it's difficult to do, it's just time consuming, and unfortunately, especially this time of year, not a lot of us have a whole lot of time. But thank you for at least mentioning it. Some of my leagues don't care if it's there or not. Some of them do a graphic for me, which is great, but I'm happy to put it up here on the broadcast for you guys as well. It's not an issue. It's one thing I like about the stream chat. You guys have blown me away with this. Again, we're only 23 laps in, and the stream chat is already more populated now than some of my races are at the end of the night. So keep that up. I love to see the interaction. It actually gives me something to talk about sometimes when the action might be a little dull. Raymond Hanneman hounding Chris Stange for second now. And a caution comes out again.
How you doing in there, kid?
Trouble off turn number 4. Multiple drivers involved, some just going off-road. Looks like the 14 of Michael Thorne in trouble. Perpendicular to traffic just before start-finish. Caution number 3 on the speedway, 24 laps in. queue up a replay for you guys. See what happened here just a moment ago to put us under the yellow for the third time tonight. Oh, this happens up ahead. I think the 4 of Kerwin Marshall goes around, and Thorne with nowhere to go. Really got to get the car woed down there. I don't know if he had room to stop, but you could at least limit the damage. So we'll watch the 4 and the 78. That's Don Canwright. Yeah, and he just comes around, and when you start to have to catch the race car, you're out of the throttle, you're in the throttle, you're trying to save it, you're scrubbing speed, you're slowing down at a considerable rate, and Canwright really nowhere to go at that point. Then Thorne comes in and makes pretty significant contact. Pit stop's underway. Some drivers already headed on out of pit lane. Looks like the top 5 stayed on the racetrack. They made their stop about 15 laps ago. Again, 25 laps in, 3 cautions to this point, so I don't think tire wear is a real big concern right now. Again, they've only got 2 sets of tires over the wall. Got to kind of budget that sort of thing, but a lot of guys ended up coming down just to top off the tanks again, so now they're going to be a little bit off cycle with everybody else. So we're going to basically see 2 rounds of green flag stops if we can get a long enough run in. I want to take another look at this from Michael Thorne's perspective. We'll go to the in-car at speed. I want you to listen to the engine and see if he gets off the throttle at all. Never lifted. Now, don't pile on them too hard, but a discussion should be had, of course. Got drivers of various experience levels in here, so don't get mad. These things happen. Zach Millett in the chat says, hello, ZeroX and Steve. Broadcast looking mint, as always. Thanks, Zach. If you're bored, Zach, you know where to find us. My booth is always open for you, sir. I don't want to get anybody excited, but Austin Walton, who did not get a lap in qualifying at all, started from the back, dead last. It's leading this race. Badger Sports with the Andy J line. Didn't lift until he saw God. That's the truth.
Green flag.
Green back in the air, Walton on the gas, Tatro to the outside. Buckaloo, Hanneman, and Pulte in the top 5. Buckaloo going for the race lead. Walton's up the racetrack. He's going to lose more than just the top spot. And here comes Cornette and Hanneman. For the lead, Cornette trying to get around Buckaloo and Hanneman in one fall swoop. Can't get it done. They're 3 wide for a moment. Cornette powers around the bottom. Hanneman right there to the back bumper. It's going to upset the car just a bit and actually upset Hanneman. Got that arrow push off turn number 2. Now they head down into 3. Cornette and Hanneman side by side for the race lead. Hanneman crossing over, looks to the bottom of the racetrack, down into turn 1. Cornette goes way to the top on that Larson line. He'll have some momentum on corner exit. That'll be enough to defend for now as Hanneman will tuck back in line. Johnny DePasquale about to lose a lap to the leaders here. DePasquale in 23rd, multiple laps down. Zach Millett setting up some new pedals. I think the middle pedal's brand new. Cornette comfortably with the lead now, 3.5 tenths back to Hanneman. Bucklew, real wide exit, almost gets the wall. Austin in the 9, holding his own there in that 4th position. Walton pulls on a line, making a move on Bucklew here for the position. This would be 3rd if he could get it. Hanneman trying to block the run from Bucklew, though. Derek's not concerned about the 9. He wants Hanneman. Bucklew's got some pace right now, working around the outside. Nose ups into 2nd spot. We'll see if he can carry it around Hanneman down the backstretch. And he does. Power move on the outside by the 81. Further down the standings here, back to the 8th, 9th, and 10th position. Tommy Pulte, Nathan Line, Matt Sisler. Sisler in 10th. They all run single file, at least for now. Not the case back here. Blake Hochschild, Chris Stange side by side. This would be for 11th. Stange trying to work his way back through. Hanneman losing some ground. Walton takes the spot back, so move the 9 back into the top 3. I don't buy it, though. I don't think Hanneman's got a problem. I think he's just taking care of his equipment. Again, only 2 sets of tires. Cornette just enjoying the view out the rearview mirror right now, watching the battles going on behind him as Walton is still working his way back towards the front. Those tires have heated up, grown a little bit, put some more air pressure in it, and he's right to the back bumper of Cornette. I just wonder what kind of lap Walton would have had on that qualifying attempt if time hadn't expired, but right now it doesn't matter. We kind of said that earlier when we talked about Hanneman's qualifying run. The race is what counts. Walton showing that right now, running the outside here, trying to build a run, wants to try and get around Cornette for that race lead. In trouble behind, Hanneman's in the wall.
How are you doing there, bud?
Vincent Short, Raymond Hanneman, maybe some others. So caution number 4 on the speedway. This time Vincent Short and Raymond Hanneman coming together. Let's see what happened. Hanneman was making a move to the outside. There was some trouble up ahead. And I don't know if Vince just got loose off of 4 or overreacted trying to pick a line to avoid what was starting to unfold ahead of him. Try to get a better angle on this. Tough to tell from there. Let's try this one. Yeah, Vince just got loose off of 4. Overcorrects it just a bit, which is so easy to do in these next-gen cars. Collects the 85 of Hanneman in the process. I want to see if we can get a wider angle here there were some things getting going ahead of them at the time. Well, Hanneman's still rolling. The car looks pretty good. He did come to pit road here for at least fuel, but a very short pit stop, so he might have dodged a bullet here. Tom Janikowski says, damn, over 3 minutes of damage. I didn't see where Janikowski was involved in this. Let's see what happened here with the 93s. He's back on pit lane. I'm not sure where Janikowski got that one from. Maybe a previous caution. Either way, he's got some work to do. Yeah, some right front damage on the 93. You can see it there, the hood and the fender buckled in onto that right front tire just a little. Which is sensitive to these Gen 7 cars are. Likely got some contact with the wheel as well. So he's going to have some toe issues, certainly. Really damage to both front fenders and hood. You see it popped up there on the left side as well. Pace car lights are off. Pace truck lights are off. Dustin, you got to change that to a car, man. As soon as you do, I'm going to call it a pace truck. Pace truck heads to pit lane. We're ready for the restart.
Flag.
Walton in line now in the front row. The 9 fires off. Big restart for Austin Walton. Gets way out in front. 3/10 now. The battle's on behind him. Nathan Lyon up the racetrack. Tetro at the bottom. Slips a little bit. Contact from Cornette. Up the racetrack goes the 18. Everybody drives away clean. Door banging now to the backstretch. Chris Stange has worked his way back into contention. He's 5th. Hanneman still looks fast as he's continuing to work his way forward. Hanneman in 6th now. Working to the back bumper of Chris Stange. Now the 48 makes a move to the inside. Wallen Harris taking the spot from Cornette. He's up to 3rd. Wallen Harris way up the racetrack. Cornette may taking the spot back, but no, a big run from the 48 down the backstretch will keep him in position 3rd for now. Meanwhile, we're going to have a battle for the race lead here before we know it. Nathan Lyon's got it for the time being. In fact, he just took it away. We missed that. I thought the 9 was out in front. Not the case. Here's the pass for the lead just a moment ago. Got it done on the outside. Power move. Now, with that said, Nathan Lyon did take a set of tires back on lap 24. So does have a little advantage there. 45 laps in, Walton has been on this set since the start of the race. He made one pit stop at lap 10 there, but that was a fuel-only stop. Dustin Rogerson in the chat says, I wish I could put a custom paint on the pace car. Yeah, that would be kind of cool, actually. Even better if you could make it specific to each particular race. More so, and I think me and Zach have talked about this in previous broadcasts, giving the ability to drive the pace car in league sessions. That'd be cool. Field starting to string out here. Line and Walton still battling, though. A tenth and a half between the top two. Walton with a good run off of turn number 2 as Line scrapes the fence. Back to the line. We'll see how stretched out everybody is. Coming to 49 laps here at Chicagoland Speedway. Nathan Line continues to lead, but Austin Walton just hounding him. Thought the tires that Line put on was going to make the big difference here. He was able to get around Austin on the outside for the race lead, but Austin is sticking with him, but he gets the wall. You can tell he's trying hard to get that lead back. Doesn't seem to faze him, though. Still a car length separating the top two. Well, these two are battling up front. Chris Cornett's coming up too. It's going to be a three-car battle here before we know it. About 2 car lengths between Line and Walton, this for the race lead. Walton's got his hands full now as Cornett gets to the inside. This for the second spot. Nathan Line continues to lead. Cornett second, Walton third, Juan Linares is fourth, and Raymond Hanneman back to the top 5. I think the 85 is going to be just all right. Meanwhile, I've been watching Nathan Line run all the way up against the wall, but now changes things up. Sees Cornett coming big in the rearview mirror. See if Cornette's got anything for him. Goes to the bottom of the racetrack. May have him here. Not enough. Clean air is certainly very important here at Chicagoland Speedway. Nathan Lyon doing all he can to stay out in front, but it seems that no matter how fast Cornette is, Chris just can't complete that pass. Meanwhile, Austin Walton's going to come to pit lane. Scheduled stop. Again, he's a little off sequence now. Four tires and fuel for Austin Walton. He'll head back out, but he's got work to do. He's going to cross his fingers now and hope the caution does not come out. Walton back to the 18th position. He is going to be a lap down here. Oh, trouble. Cornette goes around. I don't know if he was trying to get to pit lane or if he just lost it. Hangs on to it. And I got to go back to do this. That's the only way I can watch this is to rewind it because there's no indication because he didn't hit anything. But as the race leader, he just loses it. What a save. So Cornette slips to fifth, but wow, that was an incredible save. The problem he's going to have now is that's going to make that right rear tire a little bit hot. He's going to be more prone to more of the same. He almost wants to get tucked in behind somebody, get some air off the nose of that race car, kind of induce that aero push. That'll make it a little less likely to come around unless he's just going to man up and deal with it. Cars still on the lead lap. Michael Thorne in the 14. Last car on the lead lap for the time being. So Nathan Lyon back out in front with almost a full second advantage over second place. And look who it is. It's Raymond Hanneman. Again, there's no fast repair in this series, so whatever repairs he made, he had to sit there and wait for them, but he wasn't in the pits long. We're talking 11 seconds plus. That's it. So he got lucky in that wreck. Juan Linares in the third spot, right on the tail of the 85. Kerwin Marshall involved in an incident as well. He's still hanging tough in the 7th spot. Want to give a call to Blake Hochschild at number 91. He's up 17 positions, just about to crack the top 5 if he can get clear of Chris Cornette. Hochschild just cooking in the cockpit of that number 91. Brandon Moore back in the 9th spot. Qualified third, but again, also had to go to the back. So keep an eye on that 3 car as we're just past halfway here at Chicagoland Speedway. He will likely be a factor before this one comes to a close. Nathan Line continues to lead here at Chicagoland. We're going to step aside, though, get our side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. You won't miss a minute of the action. We'll be back after this.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Caution. Temps real quick and then tell me what you got.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Chicagoland Speedway, caution number 5, and really what it should not have been a caution. Tommy Pulte having a problem exiting pit lane. We'll go back again and take a peek at it here. This is him exiting the pits not that long ago, and it just breaks loose, and it looks eerily similar to maybe we grabbed the wrong gear again. We'll back this up. I'm right on board, and we'll listen to those RPMs. That's going to tell the story. Yep. Grind them if you can't find them, Tommy. In all reality, though, that was a half spin. He should not have brought the yellow out for that. He wasn't even up on the racing surface. So unfortunate for iRacing. Sometimes they miss the boat on those. They won't throw the caution when there's a 5-car wreck in Atlanta. But guy spins halfway around by himself on the apron, and then the caution comes out. Doesn't make any sense sometimes. Through all that, though, Raymond Hanneman back out front. We are getting ready to go back green. Juan Linares will restart second. And Chris Stange, Brandon Moore, Kerwin Marshall, the top five. Derek Buckaloo, Blake Hochschild, Matt Sisler, Jason Aranchak, and Rance Tatro, the top 10. iRacing Pace Truck's going to come to pit lane and open up the field for the green flag.
Green flag.
One car loose on the back straightaway. Straightens it back out and will continue on. Badger Sports in the chat. Zach Millett, if you're still listening, I'd love for you to field this one because you've got a lot of experience in this next-gen Cup car. I really cannot stand it. But I believe you can still use an H pattern even though it's a sequential, quote-unquote. If it doesn't go in, it doesn't go in. I think it's more of a computer thing than it is a sequential thing. But, Zach, if you've got anything more to add on that, feel free to help us out. Apparently it's common, though. It's not the first time we've seen that this season with the driver leaving pit lane. I think you still need to burp the throttle, if I remember correctly. Raymond Hanneman out in front. Now Chris Stange second. Linares slips back to third. Brandon Moore, as we said, has worked his way up to fourth. Hanneman with a lead of just over 2/10 to Chris Stange. Just outside the top five, Matt Sisler working around the outside of Blake Hochschild. Blake Hochschild, father of three at age 25. How do you have time to race? I'm 43 with three girls, and I don't know how to do it. Either way, more power to you. Sisler gets clear of the 91, so Matt's now into the 6th position. Next on his list will be Kerwin Marshall. Sisler's got some pace right now. He's underneath the 4. Both drivers appear to be on new tires. Sisler will tuck back in, try to protect the position behind him in the 91. Now you see Sisler, he kind of swerved up near the door of Kerwin Marshall there. He's not trying to run him off the road. He's just trying to dump some air on the spoiler. Pull a little side draft, pulled a slide job. Contact off turn 2. Both drivers straighten it back out, but Marshall loses a lot of momentum. Sisler really threw it in there. Full commit by the 31 to take the 5th position. Now Marshall's got to fend off the 91 of Hochschild. Meanwhile, Hanneman still with the lead and starting to stretch his legs. 3.5 tenths the advantage over the 72. Further behind, Tom Janikowski, Jason Aranchak. Janikowski in the 93, bottom of the track, takes the spot with ease. Now focuses sights on the 9 of Austin Walton. Walton's been fast tonight. Again, started from the back. Led some laps, was very racy early on. Just inside the top 10 now, trying to hang on to it. Eighth in line. Little bit of a bump to the back of Janikowski. Swaps lanes, goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Janikowski way up top. Janikowski now has got to worry about Nathan Line. Another pump coming. There it is. A little push down the back. Got to listen to that throttle control. Scrapes the wall a bit. A lot of drivers doing that tonight. They're using every inch of this racetrack. Lyon going to go to the top. Janikowski left it open for him. Big time run for the 38. Nathan Lyon will take the spot away, move Janikowski out of the top 10. Chris Cornett now going to make short work of Janikowski also. The 88 working his way back towards the top 10. Now runs 11th. Dustin, if you're still in the chat, if you know the green flag fuel run in terms of laps, let me know. I'd like to take a look, see where we're at. Cornett now to the bottom of the racetrack. Nathan Lyon still working up top. Slide job from Cornett, but not real aggressive. Not Matt Sisler style. He had enough pace. He didn't have to force his way up there. Puts a car length now in the 38. Move Cornett back to the top 10. We'll see if he's got enough time to get up to the front and challenge Hanneman, Stange, and Linares. Brandon Moore there in fourth, though. Keep an eye on that 3. We talked about that early on. And again, Sisler, plenty of aggression left before this one's over out of the 31. When he gets a taste of the front, he gets his elbows out. Dustin says 39 laps. Thank you, sir. That's going to leave these guys about 15 laps short if we run all the way to the end. So if we can stay green, we're going to have a green flag pit cycle in and around lap 105 to 110, depending on who opts to pit first. And there goes that. Caution's out. Jackson West in trouble. Parked in the infield grass here before start finish. Well, let's take a look what happened here to Jackson West. Put us under caution for the 6th time tonight. It's already backwards sliding through. Let's back this up a little further. Was he trying to come to pit lane? It looks like he may have been. Wow, great job locking it up, though, to keep it off the wall. It looked like his night was going to be over in a big way. Very quick reaction to get on the brakes when he did. Watch this from the tower here. Big time loose. I don't know. It looks like he was coming to pit lane, but the speed was just far too great for that to be the case. Either way, it came around. Masterful job to hang on to it enough to not put it in the fence. So final pit stops. Likely final pit stops underway here at Chicagoland Speedway. Raymond Hanneman's going to pull the whole field down. So this should be enough fuel if guys are careful about it. We're good to go to the end for sure. And they might be good for a green-white checker as well. Fuel only for many of these drivers yet again. These Gen 7 tires, they really hold up well. They do not shed a whole lot of lap time when they start to get old. And again, it hasn't been all that long. They pit last at lap 69. Here we are at lap 90. So while we have an opportunity, let's thank the sponsors again. ZeroX Media and Design, Admin Box, Sno-Belt Industries, Youngblood Racing, and Fueled Up. Of course, we got to thank the primary sponsor, Sno-Belt Industries, for covering tonight's events. The Sno-Belt Industries 125. Before we go back green, I want to give a little bit of an attaboy here to Dustin Rogerson. Just, if you're in the Discord, you get it. But there's lots of conversations going on in the league chat with these guys each and every week, and especially during the race, guys that make mistakes or crash out or do something stupid even. A lot of times they're willing to fall on the sword in public, basically, in that chat, and Dustin's always the first one in there to say, hey, you made a mistake. Don't worry about it. Do better next time. Sign of a good leader. Ready for the restart here to be lap 92. Be 33 to go at the line.
Green flag.
Hanneman gets away, but Brandon Moore taking short work of Chris Stange, or is he? Off turn number 2, gets clear. Move Brandon Moore to the second spot. Remember, had to go to the back to start this one. DOL penalty. Fought through this traffic, and here he is in contention in the final run. Chris Cornett, willing to make his voice heard. Going for the 4th position on Rance Tattrell off turn number 2. They're side by side down the backstretch. So Cornett is clear up to the 4th position. Chris Stange 3rd, Brandon Moore 2nd, Hanneman 1st. Cornette's on rails right now. He reeled Stange in very quickly. The line scrapes the wall a bit on the backstretch. We talked about that. It's not a straight back straightaway. Cornette to the bottom, side by side for the third position. I don't know how much longer they can run like this. Moore and Hanneman are starting to check out. Might be in both their interest to get single file here and try to work together to catch up to the three. Cornette changes lanes, goes to the top. Stange will be up top on exit. He's going to dump a lot of dirty air on the nose of that number 88. Cornette on the attack again. Bottom of the racetrack. Stange up top. Ford versus Chevy off of turn number 4. At the line, it's going to be Cornette for now. As this battle continues, though, Hanneman is checking out a half-second advantage over Brandon Moore. 3/4 of a second for Moore back to Stange. Oh, Austin Walton gets the wall off of turn 4. That was a little more significant than the little scrapes we've been seeing tonight. Cornette back to the bottom. And Juan Linares is going to join the party. The 48 goes to the outside on Cornette. Might try to go up top on Stange if Stange pulls down, but no, he keeps it up top on entry. Linares way up the racetrack. He'll have a run out of the corner. Oh, real loose. Cornette up the racetrack. Hard hit. Big time wreck off turn 4. Cornette's night is done. Rear end stepped out, tank slap up the racetrack. Big hit for the 88 machine, and it's all over but the crying. I don't think he can get it back to pit lane. He can't even get that thing turned around. And he's going to tow to the pits. Let's take a look. Just a moment ago, Sisler... Well, I don't know if he was starting to lose it already. Yeah, it's stepping out on him already. I mean, Sisler's there, but he's not tucked right up under that back bumper to really loosen him up. It's probably the 4th or 5th time we've seen this from a different driver tonight, and Cornette, obviously, is talented behind the wheel. Still stepped out on him. He couldn't bring it back. Big time trouble here late in this one. Back this one up. I'm going to go on board at full speed here. This is on board the 88 machine of Chris Cornette. How quickly it happens. That thing just won't stop. Monster hit. Again, it makes you happy that this is just a sim, folks. That would have been a bad one. So we did have some takers on the previous caution on pit lane. Juan Linares, Austin Walton, Jackson West, but we had more takers on this caution. Raymond Hanneman, Brandon Moore, Chris Stange, Blake Hochschild, Tommy Janikowski, Chris Pieria. Those guys all made a pit stop this time, and they all took 4 tires. Now, Top 3 took 4 tires on their pit stop just 10 laps ago. They're not terribly worn, but they're not as new as those that just came down. We'll see if it makes a difference. Gonna get the restart here with 24 laps to go. Fuel no longer a concern. We're gonna wave this off again. We're gonna go on the 23 to go, trying to get everybody lined up where they're supposed to be. So the officials have waved off the restart. Lights are back on the pace truck. So front row is going to be Juan Linares and Austin Walton. Walton is going to get his elbows out. He's been fast all night long. Again, started from the back. But you got fresh tires in behind him. And look at the 76 at Jackson West. He was involved in the caution prior to this one. And has found his way back into the second row as we get ready to restart this race. Behind him, it's Chris Stange and Brandon Moore. Again, a lot of those guys all on fresh tires now. The only catch-22 with those new tires is air pressures are low right now. Temperature needs to come up to get those pressures to come up and to get those cars to handle a little bit better. They're going to be a little on edge for a handful of laps, but if this runs 23 laps to the finish, they might be sitting pretty.
Green.
Green flag back in the air. Linares leads him into turns 3 and 4, but Hanneman on the charge, looking to the inside of the racetrack for the race lead off turn number 4. Not wasting any time. He doesn't care about air pressure. He's going for it now. Hanneman with a nose out in front. Linares trying to defend. Walton unable to keep pace with the leaders has fallen back to the 7th position. Still side by side for the top spot though. It's Linares and Hanneman. And here comes Chris Stange in third. Hanneman taking the shortcut on the apron of the racetrack here at start finish. That's okay. What the newer tires offer you as far as that advantage. You can get away with that on the bottom. Old tires makes it a little tricky. But Hanneman now clear the 48 of Linares with 21 laps to go. The 85 back out in front, trying to make it 2 in a row here at Chicagoland Speedway. Back to the line, 19 to go. Hanneman starting to increase his lead. Linares back by about 3/10. Chris Stange hounding the back bumper now. Stange goes to the bottom. Don't look now. Brandon Moore is closing in on this battle as well. So Linares hanging on to that second position, Stange in third, but Brandon Moore is closed in on both of these drivers as they still fight it out for second. Stange alongside the 48, tucks back in behind. I don't know, I think Stange is going to find a way to get the run on the outside, maybe go all the way up to that Larson line, just an inch or two off the wall. Problem is, if you have a problem, you don't have a whole lot of room to save it. But big-time run for Stange, almost clear the 48 as they roll down into turns 1 and 2. Still can't get it done, and Moore is there, and here comes Tommy Janikowski. Meanwhile, Hanneman out to a 1-second advantage almost to the second-place battle that we continue to watch. 16 laps remain. Moore crosses over, had the run off of 4, shortcuts the front stretch here, 3 wide for second. Moore with a big run through turns 1 and 2. Stange tries to pinch him down and put some air on the back spoiler. Up the racetrack, Stange gets clear and gets crossed up, saves it, doors the 3 of Moore. Headed down into turn number 3. Brandon's got the spot, still not quite clear as Stange, but Stange lost all kinds of momentum. Will he gain it back on the exit of turn 4? It doesn't matter. Brandon's got the run, closes the door, but here comes the 72 coming back after it. Moore and Stange have already put some distance on Linares and Janikowski. They close the gap a little bit here. Now less than 9/10 of a second, the advantage for Hanneman. These two, now that they're nose to tail, starting to run him back down. I think Hanneman might be trying to take care of his equipment yet again. Cool those tires off in case he needs to defend in these next 13 laps. Everybody with fresh tires has cycled to the front. The 10-lap older tires, highest running driver is the 9th place machine of Jackson West. I stand corrected. Juan Linares in 4th. The highest driver on the older tires. Again, only 10 laps older, and it's not 10 green flag laps. I think it's about 6. On board with Chris Stange, trying to hunt that second position from Brandon Moore. Starting to lose some ground though. It's about 2/10 from Moore back to Stange. Now 3.5 tenths. Hanneman's lead shrinking now, just under 0.6 of a second with less than 10 laps to go. Does Moore have enough time? 2 of the best in the field, top 2 with 9 laps to go as Hanneman will cross the start-finish line. Now stretches his legs to 0.6 plus over the 3. I really think Hanneman's just taking care of his stuff. Lets those guys run him down, gets back in the throttle, lets them run him down, and gets back in the throttle. Top 3 in the picture, Hanneman, Moore, and Stange. Now 0.8 of a second the advantage for Hanneman. I gotta wonder if Moore burned up his stuff trying to get around the 72, because Stange is coming back at him. Hanneman at the line with 7 laps to go. Almost a full second now. Back to Brandon Moore. Guys are running out of time, and Hanneman is continuing to increase the distance back to Moore. Last lap for Hanneman, a 30.71. Brandon Moore was a 30.77. Juan Linares still in the 4th position. No real pressure out the rear view. Chris Pieria is there, but back by about half a second. Tom Janikowski in P6. Blake Hochschild right behind him. Probably the closest battle we have right now on the racetrack. Hochschild to the inside. This for the 6th position. Hochschild gets it done. Crossover maybe from Janikowski. Not enough momentum to get it done. Now Janikowski top of the racetrack. Gets back alongside Hochschild. They'll drag race down the backstretch. Janikowski gets it back. Back to the race leader, coming to 2 laps to go. Got to see that white flag, or we have an opportunity at a green-white checkered if the caution comes out prior. Hanneman on rails, trying to lock up 2 races in a row. Hanneman through turns 3 and 4, looking for the white flag. Final lap here from Chicagoland Speedway. No pressure out the back for the 85 of Raymond Hanneman. Got the EOL to start tonight's race for winning last week. Looks like he's going to have another one next week. Hanneman off turn number 4. The checkered flag is waving, and Hanneman will win the Sno-Belt Industries 125. Second place goes to Brandon Moore. Chris Stange will come home in P3. Two in a row for the 85. Stange coming in, sending his love. A very happy Raymond Hanneman laying some rubber here at the start-finish line. And there goes the motor. With that, we're going to step aside here, get our break out of the way. We'll be back with our top three finishers after this. Stay with us.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Back at Chicagoland Speedway, the Sno-Belt Industries 125 in the books, and Raymond Hanneman makes it 2 in a row. See if we can get a word with the driver of the number 85, bring Raymond up into the broadcast booth, and get his thoughts. Raymond, it's Steve with Track Limits Network. You got a copy?
Got a copy.
Raymond, congratulations. 2 in a row. You got the win last week at Iowa, put it on pole here tonight, had to go to the back with the EOL, drive it through the field, and then never look back in that final restart. Drive this thing here to the win. Glass case of emotion, it seems, tonight, but you pick up the win anyway. Walk us through your night. How'd you get it done?
Oh, man. I mean, I know the dirty air was going to be crazy. Tires were very slick at the start of the race, so we're just trying to maintain and manage and working through lap traffic, or not lap traffic, working through traffic at least, and trying to make sure to keep your left front clean. And I know we got tagged there, I think by one, I'm not too sure who I got tagged by, but I know I went for a 360 on the front stretch there, and luckily it was like no damage on the car for that. And I mean, all in all, the cards played in our favor. Some good pit stops. Having that first pit box really helped out, and getting some pit stops there, not on the green flag cycle unfortunately, but on some of the shorter cautions that we did have at least, and it worked out, getting a P4 in that final restart, and just sent it to the end and had some fun with it.
Certainly an entertaining race to watch. It's always fun to see the fast guys have to start these things in the back of the pack because they can always run into some chaos on their way to the front. You endured some of that, but you got through it okay. I don't know how you managed to get clear of that without any damage. That was a pretty good hit there at the end, but maybe it's just in the door foam. Everything's good there as long as the wheels are straight. Obviously it was. Did it drive any different after that, or did it seem like it was, like normal?
When I pit, I was very vocal on the comms. I'm not gonna lie. I was to the team. I was very upset, and I thought my race was done. I topped off for fuel because we kind of were trying to save another set for near the end of the race just to help out with the drive off the turns and whatnot. And I got into the pit box, they started fueling the car, and it said 7 seconds of damage, and it said wheel damage, but it said 7 seconds, and I'm like, I don't know what they did, but I think my something in the back end there was just a little tweaked, and they just had to tighten it up, and we were good to go. So luckily it wasn't too major.
Luck and skill, always great when they come together. We look forward now to the Tricky Triangle next week. Pocono Raceway, the next stop on the ZeroX Strategy Series. How do you prepare for a place like that 3-turn triangle out in Long Pond, Pennsylvania? It almost acts like a left-turn road course, doesn't it?
It definitely does. I mean, every single turn is just so mumuch different compared to the next. I mean, the tunnel turn, you're almost full throttle if you're on clean air, and dirty air, you got to check up, and you really have to stay in clean air, or like at least make sure that you're pointed in the right direction to get into clean air on the exit so you can get a little bit of a run. And, you know, turn 3, we call it turn 3. Is it still turn 3? Is it turn 4?
What turn 4?
At least the last turn, though. I mean, that's kind of, you take the outside, you get such a good run on the front stretch, but then you're just burning up your right front at the same time. So you got to save, and, you know, turn 1, I mean, you're taking like a natural turn, and that like every other track you do, right? So it's such a tricky track, and you can't really do it by yourself. It's this week for preparations. It's going to be a lot of, you know, everyone in the league's gonna have to race together just to make sure that, you know, they're racing around that dirty air, because, you know, every little bit of dirty air is going to affect how your car is going to handle. And if you're going to be running the front the whole time, you're going to be not experiencing that dirty air if you're running in the back, if you ever end up getting back there. And it's just the car's just going to feel so much different. So it's going to be a good week for everyone to prepare and make sure it's a good race for everyone next Tuesday.
All that said, you're going to be in the back next week again after winning this race, so you're going to have some work to do as well. How do you feel about your chances picking up 3 in a row next week at Pocono?
I'm not good at Pocono. It's one of the tracks that I'm not too keen on, so I mean, I'll be happy with the top 5 next week. I mean, honestly, if anybody, one of the fuel up cars wins, or I know Chris Cornett's searching right now, or, you know, Juan's got a good pace out there too. Tommy Janikowski is another good driver I've raced with and whatnot. So if any of those drivers win, I'd honestly more than happy. And with the top 5 or top 10, it's well deserved, I think.
All right, Raymond. Well, a job well done here tonight. 2 in a row at Chicagoland Speedway. Congratulations, man. Who do you want to thank?
Got to thank the girlfriend, always supporting and allowing me to race, because I know it's taking a lot of my time, but I'm trying to make sure that I am good. And even though she says I am, I always got to put the practice in, because practice makes perfect. I got to thank the fans and you for putting on this amazing broadcast every single week. Without the fans, we wouldn't be able to race in front of anybody, and appreciate everyone for tuning out. Got to thank Dustin. He's been a huge help behind the scenes, running the league and stuff like that, making sure that we're all you know, crossing our T's and dotting our I's. So I appreciate to him. All the fueled up guys, Nathan, Brandon, Christopher, Jason couldn't make it tonight, so big shout out to him for watching, still supporting all of us. Got to thank Eternal, iStats, Triple Stint Racing, Clark Heating and Cooling, Admin Box. There's so many to count. I don't know who else to thank for tonight, but I just thank everybody and everybody that supports this passion of mine, and it's greatly appreciated.
All right, Raymond. Well, thanks for talking to us. Congrats again, and good luck next week.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It's Raymond Hanneman, race winner for the 2nd week in a row here at Chicagoland Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to the number 3 driver. That's Brandon Moore, our runner-up here tonight. Started from the back, had to work his way to the front just like Raymond Hanneman did. Let's get a word with the driver of that number 3 machine. Brandon Moore, Steve with Track Limits. You got us?
I got you, brother.
Brandon, congratulations, man. A tough night to kick things off. You had to work your way from the tail and finish 2nd to boot. Did you have anything for Raymond there at the end? It seemed like he was starting to put some distance on you in the closing laps.
No, I burned it up on the restart, and then I really burned it up trying to stay ahead of my teammate Chris there. He was super duper fast, and I couldn't really focus on the line ahead. I had to play a lot of defense and did a lot of mirror driving, but yeah, we ran good. Happy with the speed. Tickled for the teammate Raymond getting another dub for the team. So it was a good night. We recovered pretty well, I think, from starting at the tail end to finish P2.
Pocono Raceway next week. 3 turns, all different. Raymond Hanneman said he's not a big fan of the place. He doesn't run the greatest there. He said he'd be thrilled with the top 5. What's your take on Pocono for next week?
I like Pocono. Last time I ran at Pocono, I actually won the race in a league, so hopefully we can carry that through and hopefully run just as well. But we should run good, probably run top 3, more than likely, we'll see. But I like it, it's fun. Got to get the tunnel turned right. If you can't get the tunnel turned right, you're going to have a bad night.
Well, we certainly look forward to it, Brandon. Congrats again. Runner-up finish here tonight. Job well earned. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
I just want to, thank the broadcast booth. I think you do a fantastic job for the folks watching. I know they got the best seat in the house, watching us gladiators go at it. And I want to thank all the admins who take the time to put this thing together. Fantastic league. First time in this league, first season. Really impressed with them. And then I just want to thank the teammates. We all put a lot of work in the practice, helping each other improve and run quick every week. And just awesome to be a part of them. And we look forward to Pocono.
All right, Brandon. Thanks for talking to us, man. Congrats again. Good luck next week in Pocono.
I appreciate that. Have a good night.
Too. Brandon Moore, runner-up here at Chicagoland Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to Chris Stange. Let's see what he has to say about the closing laps of this one. Chris, it's Steve with Track Limits. You got us?
Yeah, I got you. You got me?
Got you loud and clear. Chris, congratulations, man. It was a strong run here tonight. You were in a rocket ship underneath you, but just not enough there at the end. A good battle with Brandon Moore in the closing laps. Did it just burn the tires off that thing late?
Honestly, it was battling with Juan there for so long, and Brandon took an opportune moment to get us both, and he's, one of the best. Same with Raymond. Those two guys are just in a class of their own. I'm glad to be teammates with such good drivers there and be able to come home third, man. That's pretty good. How about them Field Up boys, huh?
1, 2, 3 team finish here at Chicagoland Speedway. You guys certainly been getting it done. You do have the numbers out there, though, so I'll give you that much. But next week, Pocono Raceway. We talked to Hanneman about it. He's not thrilled about the place. Maybe a top 5 if he's lucky, he says. How do you feel about it?
Optimistic, man. This is another really good track for me. I'm ready to move on to next week and maybe put one in victory lane one of these times. Everybody else on the team seems to be able to get there. I need to get one, and Pocono might be a good place to do that.
Well, we've said it so many times. You keep putting yourself in position near the front of the field for these things. You're going to get a win at some point. It's just a matter of the numbers and everything coming together, a little bit of talent, a little bit of luck. I think we'll see you in victory lane at some point for sure. So, Chris, congrats again, man. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
Our whole Field Up team. Without them guys, we wouldn't have finishes like this, and all the practice and time that everybody puts in. It's a lot to run this good. And then a shout out to you and the broadcast. It's phenomenal every week. Appreciate you guys. And then the ZeroX crew and everybody that put this league on, man, it's really coming together, having a lot of fun racing out here. And, big shout out to all the Field Up sponsors. You've probably heard it twice, so I won't say it a third time. But, thanks to all the fans watching, and we'll see you next week.
All right, Chris, thanks for talking to us. Good luck in Pocono.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Chris Stange, third place here at Chicagoland Speedway. That's going to do it for the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. So let's take a look at our race results. We talked to race winner Raymond Hanneman. Brandon Moore finishes in the second spot. Chris Stange was third. Chris Pieria was fourth. Juan Linares slips back to the fifth spot. Still a solid finish. Blake Hostchild drove it up to P6. Tom Janikowski was seventh. Jason Aranchak finishes in the eighth spot. Jackson West comes home in ninth. Derek Buckaloo was 10th. 11th was Rance Tatro. Austin Walton from the back. Spent some time at the front. Looked good for a bit. Finishes in the 12th spot. Tonight's sponsor, Tommy Polte, with Sno-Belt Industries. He'll finish in the 13th position. Kerwin Marshall was 14th. Vincent Short finishes in the 15th position. 16th went to Michael Thorne. Don Canwright was 17th. Matt Sisler, 18th. Old Johnny Deep Pasquale finishes 19th. Nathan Line out of this one a little bit early, 26 laps down in 20th. Chris Cornett, a rocket ship as well underneath him. He gets taken out in a big wreck. He'll finish 21st. Robbie Good was 22nd. Wesley Jeanette, 23rd. Benjamin Smith, 24th. And out of this one very early, he'll finish last. It's Jim Treat in 25th. 116 laps down. A tough night for the 367. He looked real strong to start the season in Daytona. He's got to get that luck turned around. Maybe next week on the 2.5 mile triangle of Pocono Raceway next week is the place for it to happen. With all that said, thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight to watch tonight's broadcast, especially you stream chatters. I know I say it a lot, probably every other week, but it makes a big difference. You really do add to the broadcast when you've got things to say in the chat. The good news is it's almost too busy for me to see and even respond and react to every one of them, but please keep it up. I always try to get my eyeballs on it a few times, every few laps to see what's going on, if anybody's chatting, any questions, any things that you might want to see on the broadcast, even mid-race. Like I think Badger Sports mentioned the point standings here tonight. I'll get that squared away here the next week or so we'll be able to post that mid-race so you guys have an idea. It will be the point standings as they came into the night. There's no live standings that I can play with, at least not yet. We'll see if we can get that to work down the road. But nonetheless, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I do appreciate it. If you haven't already done so, hit the like button. Zach Millett said it earlier. We had 20 watching and only a couple of likes. So help us out with that thumbs up. It's free to do, and it helps us immensely. Not just us here at the channel, but you guys too in the league. Get some fresh eyeballs on what's going on. It could be someone interested in a new league that they don't know about you guys yet. I would support it. It's been a good one. It's been a relatively clean one and some great races, some great competition each and every week. So help us out with that. Subscribe if you haven't already. I have seen that a bunch of you have done that over the last handful of weeks, so I appreciate that as well. But I'm going to shut up now. That's enough out of me. We'll see you guys next week at Pocono Raceway. Thanks for watching.